Alright, we online. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Goose Trail. I'm Mickey Stevens. I hope everyone's been doing good as summer has come. I started off the day waking up, grabbing my cat, making a tea, orange peacock specifically with vanilla cream, and sat outside for a little bit with the cat. And if you guys and girls hear my cat right now, he is begging to go outside. Uh, I want to let him be in the grass and stuff, but as soon as you bring him in from touching grass, he's like, meow, and I'm like, shut up. Oh my goodness, those begging meows. Wow. Wow. Oh, they are loud. And after a half an hour of listening to the bag, you're like, you want to be like Homer. Just joking realistically, but you guys kind of know after things get annoying. It's like, oh my god, enough, enough, please, enough. So, really, I'm doing awesome. Uh, Competing with begging for a while. I think the begging is done, so I kind of started streaming here now. I would love to go outside and do some work today. I just don't know what to do. I know I gotta do something underneath my trailer. I need to crawl underneath my house and figure out why a extension cord unplugged from underneath the house plug-in. I have two electrical cords. The only one's plugged in somehow. Like I wrapped that thing around a couple boards so that I wouldn't actually, if someone did pull on it, it wasn't gonna like unplug. But man, the ex, she took a lot of shit. She wrecked a lot of shit. You know, so I'm still fixing a few things here and there. Um, was a little lazy getting back. But anyways, we're not gonna be sitting here talking about moi and my bullshit. Mm-mm. We're gonna be talking about a new story here. Her name is Mackenzie Shirilla. Now, Mackenzie Shirilla, just to go through it really quickly, if I can. Mackenzie Shirilla was in a relationship with this guy named Dom. We'll just bring me and shrink me down. All right. Since it's just like news and this and that, we'll just watch me a little bit bigger. Fuck it. Stay normal. All right, so we have Dom, a 20-year-old, dating Mackenzie, and she was like 16, 17 years old at the time. He was 20. And this specific accident happened June 31st, 2022 at 5:36 in the morning. Dom, Damien, and Mackenzie, the chick, they decided to drive home to Dom's house. Now, to put a little side information in before going through the whole story, this relationship was as toxic as my ex's. And nobody sees this shit. but me and, of course, Dom. I see it across the street on my neighbor John there and his fucking psycho bitch. I'm out there recording their arguments because she's talking about grabbing a knife and cutting his throat and shit. Real life threats. And that's what Mackenzie does to Dom. You'll end up, if you watch the Netflix documentary called The Crash. The Crash is a documentary on Netflix. And in this stream, I'm not going to use another dude that I thought I was going to use because he actually uses clips from the documentary. And I'm not realistically interested in making money off my streams except for I just want to do this. This is something that I've always wanted to do, stream. So, like Mackenzie, you will find and see recordings and actually it's more of a video recording, sorry, where Mackenzie is like threatening him, family, his property, his vehicle. And she's basically saying, if you don't open the door right now, Dom, I'm going to fucking end you. You know, and how women talk, it's subtle. Like, they speak in riddles, right? But the threats are bare boned right out there. And he's recording all this shit. And he's like, what the fuck? You're going to really do all this shit? You threatening me? She's like, yeah. If you don't fucking open the door, all that shit's going to happen. Now, again, I'm not here to talk about me. So I'm not. But I'm just here to say, this is the majority of how women are in a relationship. And you wonder why men don't want to say anything to a woman first. And I'm not going to say anything to a woman these days because, you know, they all say that we're freaks. We're perverts. Incels. All this talk. And you think I want to talk to a woman? I'm 40 years old, man. The next 40 years of my life is devoted to saving, retiring, and dying. I've already spent 30 years, basically, of my life hunting for a lover. All long-term relationships, and it's bullshit. And in this particular story, I gotta say, I wish so much for these two boys that I wish so much, and wishing just can't do anything. You know, we can talk about how many innocent men are in jail because of women's actions, and lots of women, there's no repercussions for their actions. And I love this story because this is one story that was judged off the bench, one judge, and this judge fucking gave this chick everything. She's in jail for life. Meanwhile, her little goody two-shoe parents are still trying to get her out. Right? Like, her dad, I have learned, is a teacher who is not a teacher anymore. And that's my cat. He is just begging to go outside. And I gotta not do that anymore. You can come outside, but you gotta stay in the backpack. Anyway, so Mackenzie, yeah, man, this is when you see more into Mackenzie and Dom's relationship, how toxic it was. And Dom, now there was a part where Dom cheated. Well, I'll tell you why Dom cheated. How I kind of, I don't really know. It was like I'm like looking for a way out. So I'm like trying to like talk to other people on the outside. So I'm not, can't even call it cheating, right? I'm like talking to other people, and she's calling it cheating. But it was the only way that I could really get out of that relationship, to get her in a position where she's so upset, where she doesn't want to say yes to this guy anymore. So talking to others did help, because she went psycho and called me a cheater just for talking to people. And now you will see a lot of their relationship in a lot of toxic times. Tank, I'm getting so annoyed with you, man. Please? Please, man. Please. Just chill. Just chill. Just chill. Just chill. Sheesh. He's such a bagger right now. He is not going on the dog leash. He is not touching the grass. He is staying in his backpack. So, yeah, Mackenzie, they're having fights. Dom is like really, he's trying to get out of the relationship, and she won't let him, right? And this is like every chick. Literally, like, you try to like break up with them, and they're like, fuck that, you ain't. You want me to fuck you up? Like, bitch, I've realized this isn't healthy. This isn't a good, healthy relationship. I need out. Can you just fucking take it and let's go our separate ways? Oh my God. How come when, and I have never been broken up with. I really got to think about that just in case. Oh, someone broke up with me once in high school. Yep, someone broke up with me once in high school. Val. Oh, cute little chick. But anyways, I've always had to break up after a long time, and that shit ain't easy, because girls just don't take, they just don't take that. There's only been one girl, that was my ex-fiance before my ex-wife, and that was a mutual breakup. Like I said, I'm like falling in love with my neighbor. I don't know what to do. She knows about it. And that was basically it. She understood. But every other girl in the world, they can't take no as an answer. They can't take the rejection. Like, then they'll say, I'm going to kill myself, for example. Okay, so I have to stay in this relationship so someone doesn't die. Thanks. And then the majority of the relationships have been with children, and that doesn't make things very easy when you love kids and you tell them, this is going to be your forever home, my little man, my little girl. So in the end, they're going home in the car 5:30 in the morning, and the black box in the car says all the evidence. So there is an S-turn before the T intersection where a brick building is. That T intersection is their dead end. An S curve right before the T intersection, right by the brick building. Whatever is happening inside that car, we will never know, because Mackenzie Shirilla, to this day, with her prison interview for Netflix. There is a lawyer in the same room with her. So it was a scripted interview. Still, she doesn't remember anything that happened. Like, how convenient. As the court would point out, how convenient you don't remember anything. Wait, we should check your blood levels. There's no alcohol. There's no mushrooms. There's nothing except for THC. And in this chick's history of her social media, this chick is puffing ganja like a fucking pimp. She is driving with huge coned fucking J's and just driving at the same time, man. Look, I think we all drove stoned growing up. At this point, just because drinking and driving and the laws that marijuana are getting attached to for driving, it's just not worth it to smoke weed 3 hours before a cruise. It's just not worth it. It really is not worth it to get a DUI. If I smoke weed, I'm inside my house. I don't take weed outside of my house anymore. I'll go back inside if I'm outside, pack a bowl inside, and take it out. You guys can hear my cat bagging, I am sure. Tank! Please, dude! Please, man! God, wait, so Mackenzie. Esther. Coming up to a T intersection. Brick building behind the T intersection. Black box says the accelerator was down to the fucking floor 100%. The last few moments reaching up to that brick building. And if Potts kicked in and she fainted, Tank, my man, come on over here, big guy. Come from the back of the house and join the party. 100% gas. Not once was the brake pressed, even at a 2%. What was happening in this car? Again, we'll never know because she doesn't remember a thing, even to this day, behind bars. Both of the boys are dead. Kate, you're not going on the dog leash anymore, bro. You just get to stay in your backpack. You love the backpack. I know you do. You don't get to touch grass in our own yard anymore. It's been an hour and he's still begging. I'm trying to fucking talk here, home slice. Tank, no man. Sheesh. Gotta get up and get him a fucking treat right away. Jeez. Hopefully that calms him down. No brakes. Full acceleration. What was happening on in that fucking car, man? What the fuck was happening on in that car? Were they having an argument? To me, it's almost like I don't even know. Because if there was a little bit on the black box that indicated some swerving of the steering wheel, and we can't see that on the security cam footage that the police were able to find on their route, And the footage is horrifying to watch. Now, the next piece of info. This chick, sorry, not this chick, this bitch is traveling at 90 to 100 miles an hour. It kept on climbing from the 90 higher and higher. It reached right up to 100 miles per hour. That is 154 kilometers an hour, I think. 100 miles an hour going, that is 100. Tank! Fuck, please! You're louder than me! 150 kilometers an hour, right fucking. Okay, there's a corner they bounced off first, and it like. They were head on in a 90. And that car hit so hard, it must have like jumped off the corner. It like stopped in that one place, but it like jumped. And then it like turned around and sat. Because the brick wall behind it wasn't damaged. So that fucking car, 100 mile an hour, into a fucking dead stop. The car, like I said, I swear to God, it must have, when it hit that fucking 90-degree corner, it must have like jumped up and spun around and sat. It was, the sounded like an actual bomb went off. It was so loud from the security camera. I was stunned. I have never seen a crash like that in my life. This chick went on a suicide mission. There was some actual tension in that vehicle because before they went and got onto that road, the turn that she made right onto that street was calm, cool, collected, and precise. And then you see this vehicle traveling at 100 mile an hour almost go through that S-turn with precision. And right after the S-turn, they were meeting that fucking T intersection and my jaw is hanging from my face. As soon as I seen, we don't actually get to see the car go into the brick building, but we hear the sound. We were able to see the after footage of when the police were showing up to the scene in the start of the Netflix documentary. You get to see the aftermath of that car. And she's the only survivor? How in the fuck? It seems like both boys had no seatbelt on. They were both like piled in the front, DOA. Unfortunately, DOA. God bless those two. Honest to God, God bless their families. In Jesus' name. Just help them with whatever they need. So, I'm basically about to go and press play on this because what I have found is a dude speaking to a female lawyer. He has done this bit of info on this case without having any recordings from the Netflix documentary. So I'm kind of helping Netflix not take their documentary info. I want to find real info that has no fingerprint of Netflix on my stream. I want to be able to use info and to have these reaction videos, but as best as I can do it, right? There's like this one guy, like I said, he's got a good thing going, but he's using pieces from Netflix. He doesn't use the video of it, he uses like audio recording. But it still doesn't, you still can't really do that with Netflix. Netflix is the most protected company out there, man. They've done it. I am a Netflix fucking fan, diehard Netflix fan. You watch enough Netflix, you start seeing shows that talk about Netflix, that try to like ruin Netflix. In some of the series, you get to see like stories that are trying to take Netflix down because they're making videos because you signed the agreement on the Netflix agreement and they're able to take your info and make TV shows off you. That was a good, oh man, I can't remember what that one was called. Great Netflix original. And then you get to watch a new thing that I have suggested called Mating Season by Nick Kroll. Ooh, shit. Yeah. So anyways, you see them pull out this shoebox called Mice Flicks. Mice Flicks, fuck off. Alright. Get back into Mackenzie Shirilla. The nastiest hoe bag, I think. And she really paints a good picture of how women act these days. Realistically talking about the ones that could find them or get themselves into that I'm the popular one. And if you see one of my episodes about almost a week ago, this chick is talking about like 3 stages of how chicks act as they're growing up in order to kind of get themselves ready in the future so that they can have a bunch of people that they could rely on after they have a baby. And it's kind of a, ooh, is it, ooh, shit, some sneaky behind your back fucking warfare. That's what women are good at. Like, ooh, shit. They are so rank with how cute they make it sound. They are like fucking grim fucking reapers in a human skin. They learn they can get away with anything, and they fucking push that fucking hard. In any way they can, they have learned how they can get away with shit, with how they act. It was so informative for me, so knowledgeable, to understand, oh my God, finally I understand that the exes that I've been in is I understand all the shit that I don't understand coming out of their mouth now because they're trying to do that fucking Grim Reaper fucking warfare shit. And it's like behind your back, but they're like in your face. And man, I can't imagine saying shit that women do. And in this documentary on Netflix, yo, you are going to see the toxicity of femininity. And you are going to see how Dom, how I could guarantee your motherfucking asses that 90% of the men that get into a relationship with a woman that is under 38, this is going to be the majority of your female population. And I guarantee you, men are not as fucking toxic as women have become. Men have never been in a position to fucking prove they're more powerful than the other sex. No, that's only women doing that since World War II. Take the sticks out of your fucking assholes, girls. Because there's no power that you'll ever get higher than being a man. You, on the other hand, being a woman, have more power than a man will ever be. Because you can persuade that man if you're the one that can be with him. Now, can you use your fucking femininity powers for good or for evil? This documentary, I believe, is showing the most toxic femininity traits in our women. And thank God this bitch is being punished. But on the sideline, you got her parents trying to protect her, trying to get her out, trying to give her the best life she can inside the prison. Now, I understand that. I understand that coming from a parent's point of view, because when I went to jail for being absolutely innocent, the only thing that I was caught for was because I was carrying out of this house so that the kids can stay, so that the mother could stay. I was taking out of this house an heirloom from my dead grandfather. From World War II, he had a .22 rifle that I didn't know about. I ended up getting it as the heirloom. My family knows I take care of things so well that everything comes to me. I take such good care of my stuff. So when I had to go to jail, my parents were like, we'll give you some money so you can get the munchies, so you can get some hand lotion, so you can get some nail files, because in jail you're not even allowed nail clippers. There's so much shit in jail where people are trying to put shit in the electrical outlets to get a spark so that they can smoke, right? And off story some more. When I was in jail, that's the reason I got punched in the face. Someone on my up and down, not on the left and right, because that's not how the electrical works. The electrical works down below and it goes straight up. So our breaker was fried and it flicked because someone put something in the outlet and popped our switch. Our breaker was off for like 24 hours. And one of the gangsters comes to my room and I meet him, sup. He's like, what the fuck did you do? I go, what? He's like, don't be fucking smart with me. What the fuck did you do? I go, what did I do? I don't know what you're really talking about, my man. He goes, motherfucker. I said, don't be fucking smart with me, you lippy motherfucker. And I'm like, holy fuck. Holy fuck. What the fuck did I do? Right? What the fuck did I do? Looks like my mic is going way too high. So what the fuck did I do? I'm like trying to answer this guy, but at the same time, I don't know what he's really talking about. What did I do? Who are you? Where'd you come from? I don't know what the fuck I did. What are you talking about? I don't even know what he's talking about, even though the breaker's popped. Like, what did I do? I was laying in my bed and the power went out. Don't be a fucking cheeky bitch, blah, blah, blah. So, my break comes. On his break, he doesn't shut the door fully. And for some reason, the guards just ignore the fact that one door isn't sealed properly when they do the lockdown. Fuck you, homo motherfuckers. So, someone comes up to me and says, buddy wants to see you. So, oh, fuck, whatever. I definitely know who that motherfucker is. They fucking take me to the room. He's like, come on in. I'm like, no way, fuck. I'm coming in here. You think I'm stupid? He says, come on in here. I said, fuck off. No. And motherfucker gave me a cheap fucking shot, but I must say, good shot, bro, because that fucking shot, I was bruised up in here, and I had the shooting pain in, like, my gums for, like, 3 months. Woo. That was the best sucker punch I have ever got in my life, yo. I was impressed and shocked with some fear. Well, I got like a mark on my back for fucking nothing again. What the fuck is wrong with my life? I just get fucked for nothing. Everyone's allowed to do everything bad. Just call the police and tell them it was me. I'll take the fall for everyone because that's the way my shit goes. That's the way my life is done. And I fucking do it good. I don't fucking hit people back when it's not needed. The only time I'm going to hit you back is when I know my life is in danger. Because I just know how the law works. But still, even though I don't fucking do anything, I still get fucking in trouble for everybody's shit. Now, that's why you catch me in the past saying, you know what? I got security cameras in and out of my house. I don't care if you know me for 2 years and we're inside. That fucking camera is going to catch the one time you go batshit crazy and then you call the police and lie, and I got all this shit on camera. If only one of the boys started recording once they got scared, that would have changed the story around, because I can guarantee you there was some shit going down. And she's going ballistic. Oh, and I can guarantee, I just noticed, oh, you want to know why the boys didn't have seatbelts on? They were freaking out. They're trying to take control and tell her to stop. Then when that car smacks, of course they're bunched together in the same spot. I never thought of that till right now. They didn't have their seatbelts on because they were trying to get Mackenzie to basically fuck off. Stop this shit. You fucking crazy. And this chick is in jail for 30 years. So she'll be 18 in the 2023 time. So 30 years on that shit. Ooh. You're 50 years old, bitch. Your life is done. And that's the way it's done. People getting prosecuted for reals. This world in the law has got to know that just because a little girl calls the police, that's not the way it went anymore. Quit listening to these bitches. Because throughout the past almost 100 years, it's been 80 years since World War II, yo, they are getting pretty smart at how their power rolls. And if shit don't start changing, I could see that one thing in Revelation, the end time sign. Women will be side by side at the grind, motherfucker. Only women will be in power in the end of times. The last man to leave power, that's the end times. So, boys, you better start downgrading all these women's rights in my mind. Take away all their fucking rights, because this is the rights that give them the power to not have any repercussions for any of their actions. How many fucking videos do we have to be fucking... God, why do we have to watch all these white women in America basically attacking the federal ICE agents? Now, Mackenzie Shirilla, in my mind, you're a liar. You're trying to do those powers women have. You should stay there for the full 30 years. The parents of Shirilla grow up. She's in jail. You can't baby her from in there. Let her go. Yes, I agree. Give her some money. She is your daughter. You can pamper her a little bit while she does her time. Because women need to start learning a fucking thing or two. And this is one of our starts. Women can't do what the fuck they want anymore. You're lucky you're fucking alive. You're lucky you get to be in jail. You're fucking lucky you get to be in jail and live. After 50, you still got 15 to 30 years max after to live. You still got a little life. Make the best of what you got, Mackenzie Shirilla. And for her parents, like I said, drop this shit. This is needed for women all around to see this bullshit. This isn't just her getting punishment. This is the whole weight of women. You want to act a bitch like this? Well, I'm not sorry. I'm celebrating. Yesterday, I wanted to go buy vodka because of this story. This is a celebration to me. Now, for me to shut the fuck up about Mackenzie Shirilla, and so you guys can get the lowdown from another YouTuber and from an actual lawyer who does a lot of self-defense cases. I'ma shut up. Here we go.
Like this, Diamond Davion should be here. She belongs in prison.
Mackenzie Shirilla, the teenager convicted of
I'm gonna make some tea.
car into a brick wall,
thanks for joining me on this particular journey, you guys. Women
her family and her legal team
is a big topic these days. Why does nobody want to have sex anymore? Why are men scared to make the first move anymore? Why are men so damaged? Well, I'll tell you fucking straight up why. Women with their loose fucking lips and the power that they hold because they open their legs and show a nipple and they fucking got you wrapped around their pinky fucking finger like flies on shit, man. Alright, I'll shut up.
Fight to get her out. This is one angle we haven't really discussed yet. Does she have a chance? Does she have a legal leg to stand on, especially after the Netflix documentary came out? Well, I'll tell you what, we have a powerhouse criminal defense attorney coming on to break down Shirilla's appeal arguments and what we can expect next. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Everybody loves a self-made success story, but John Morgan says that is not how real life works. The great John Morgan, everybody. In his new book, Life is Luck, the founder of Morgan & Morgan
It's kind of just
gets
a bunch
real
of bullshit,
about the
but
role
it's
that
kind of
luck
cool to
plays in
see
success and how to
that this
recognize
guy,
opportunity when it
he
shows up.
created
That
Morgan
seed
by
was
Morgan.
just lucky.
From delivering newspapers as a kid to building America's largest injury law firm, Morgan shares the moments that changed everything.
It's a how-to book to approach life, luck, and ultimately success.
This isn't another billionaire memoir full of cheesy advice. It's honest, blunt, and packed with lessons on turning good luck and bad luck into something bigger. I hope people read it. I hope people appreciate it. Buy Life is Luck now on Amazon at forthepeople.com/lifeisluck. When a judge sentenced killer Mackenzie Shirilla to prison in 2023, the teenager appeared stunned.
She's sentenced on count 2, the murder of Davion Flanagan, 15 years to life. She's sentenced on count 1, the murder of Dominic Russo, 15 years to life, to be served concurrent to each other with credit for time served.
The judge determined, since this was a bench trial, the case was tried before a judge, not a jury, so a judge determined that Ohio prosecutors had proved.
And if I was fucking... I could just see myself, even if I was young, I would still want to pick a jury over the bench. Because you don't know what kind of judge you're going to get. Some are lenient, some are strict. I've seen it when I had to go to jail. There were strict ones and there were lenient ones. But I gotta say, for the Shirillas, that is the dumbest fucking decision that you could have made, to put your daughter's fate in the hands of one decision, one decider. That's putting a lot of faith into faith for one person to make a decision. It doesn't matter how cute you might make yourself look. It doesn't matter when it comes to one judge. That's a one judge. And even if that one judge is lenient, maybe that one judge is like me and just knows what women are capable of and gives you the full max. If I was the parents, I'd be hurting for that one reason. We should have did jury. Well, duh. The jury could go on for a long time. At least there could be long time of court fighting because jury's mind goes back and forth, possibly. But even in this, we're taking one person's side of the story, basically, and making that final call, right? So I think that was a mistake, big mistake. There's more time, there's more to work with when you have a jury than the bench. It just makes sense. It's common sense. It really is. That's common sense to me. You have more chance with jury than you do with bench. You always will. You'll have more time to fight with the jury, fight to prove to the jury, than with the bench. The bench has all that education. It can make decisions now, but the jury can't. All right? So, like, if she had the jury, she might have been able to get let loose, because I seen some incel motherfuckers online saying you got to release Mackenzie Shirilla because she's too cute for jail. Holy God, fuck me in the D. Jesus. Please, God. Please, man. Help us down here. I'll shut up.
beyond a reasonable doubt that Mackenzie Shirilla had driven her car into the side of a brick building on purpose. Her longtime on-again,
Did you see it, you guys?
off-again boyfriend, Dominic Russo,
The fuck did I
and
do?
their friend Davion Flanagan were killed. Prosecution's evidence at trial portrayed Shirilla as a self-centered, bratty teen who couldn't handle Dominic's decision to basically end things. And in the early morning hours of July 31st, 2022,
So
the
true.
17-year-old mashed down the accelerator, never tried to brake. This is according to investigative reports, sailing over a curb, through a business sign, and into a brick wall.
See, look at that. You could see the car jumped after it did the impact. Exactly the way I imagined it. Okay, let's just go back a little bit farther.
Year-old mashed down the accelerator, never tried to
Right.
brake. This is according to investigators.
Okay, she goes through the fence, and right here is the corner, right there. That's the corner right there. So as soon as it hits, the lights do this spin, and then they look towards that way, this way, that way. Lights that way. So if the car goes this way, hits there, I believe the car is going to be turning right through the spin somehow. From how the physics in my mind is working off that corner, off that bounce, just from old skateboarding. Like if I flick that skateboard nose first in this direction in that corner, I can guarantee that skateboard's going to go whoop and sit, right? So it's just going to do it almost did a 360. Now we'll press play.
Investigative report.
There's the sign. The sign is blocking some of the wall over here, but you can see that corner right there. You could actually see it.
Reports. Sailing over a curb.
There, it hit. It's in the air right now. The car did a little jump after it basically split in half.
Curb.
See? And it's coming back down. I think the car did a little flip, basically.
Through a business
And now
sign
it's dropping right now. It is dropped. It's done.
and into a brick
The light isn't moving. Like I said, it actually did a 360 in the air.
wall. And Shirilla has insisted ever since then that she has no memory whatsoever of the crash or the minutes leading up to it. She and her family have suggested that she has a diagnosis of POTS, a medical condition that can cause dizziness and fainting. They claim Shirilla must have blacked out.
So here's the thing to think about POTS. And I seen some of the responses in some of these videos, and I seen two women in there talk about their situation with POTS, and they had mentioned it does not work like that. So, okay, for one, I don't know anything about POTS for the most part. But what I do know is if you faint, what happens when you faint? Well, I can guarantee you, your whole body doesn't like stiffen up and lock up like a seizure. If POTS actually activated and she went limp, why the fuck is the foot jamming the gas pedal to the floor at 100% that the black box has revealed? So if you go limp, fainting, you drop to the ground, and where you are is where you are, and you're kind of a limp noodle. So, again, if you're a limp noodle, how does the foot jam the accelerator to the floor? How? Just how? Get all the scientists, all the doctors in here, and get all these doctors to explain how the fuck does a limp body put the strength down to the floor like that? If I'm limp, that fucking gas pedal pushes my foot off. That's the spring power in the gas pedal. Fuck. I gotta press the gas pedal down with strength. And if I apply no strength, my foot just pops off. So don't fucking tell me, who's got brain damage, that POTS is like a seizure. Seizures stiffen everything up and you convulse. Your whole body gets so tight. You don't know what's going on. Your body doesn't know what's going on because it's going through so much convulsions. But that's not what POTS is. As far as I know of POTS, that is nothing like a seizure. You go limp, please tell me, how does your fucking foot go fucking hard down on the floor like that?
Which is why she drove off the road. Shirilla's mother testified at the bench trial that she'd seen her daughter exhibit symptoms of POTS, but the defense never called a medical expert to testify that Shirilla actually has the condition. At least one former inmate who claimed to have interacted with Shirilla behind bars said she never noticed any medical problems like this. There was evidence of drug use found at the scene, right? The marijuana vape pen, mushrooms. But toxicology testing on Shirilla showed just trace amounts of THC in her system. She hadn't been drinking. She hadn't been using other drugs before the crash. And this is despite multiple posts on her social media profile showing her seemingly drinking.
Like, here's the thing. They woke up and then decided to go back to Dom's house. They woke up from a night of watching movies and falling asleep together.
Drinking often while allegedly smoking marijuana or
then what happens in the car?
Recklessly. Now, Shirilla was arrested several months after this tragedy in November of 2022. And at her trial the next year, the following year, the judge found her guilty of 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, 1 count of drug possession, and 1 count of possessing criminal tools. But Shirilla and her family have continued to profess her innocence, including in her first on-camera interview in a new documentary.
Yeah. If you watch the documentary, you'll see at the very end of the doc that both parents are still trying to fight to get her released as innocent. Well, they find text messages from a couple weeks prior to the accident. Supposedly, Dom said that he's going to crash the car. Yeah, but here's the fucking thing. Dom wasn't driving. So, it's embarrassing at this point to see the parents, Mr. and Mrs. Shirilla. It's getting embarrassing. All I'd like to see is for them to understand how women are in this world. Your daughter has been caught being extremely toxic towards Dom in the documentary and in other sources. You guys are embarrassing yourself. Do you realize that you're embarrassing yourself? The world needs this. You got to take one for the team, Mr. and Mrs. Shirilla. You must take one for the team. This is going to be the starting points of women being prosecuted for the wrong shit they do. I'm getting tired of seeing innocent men behind bars because women say blah, 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 blah. So Mr. and Mrs. Shirilla, shut your fucking trap. Save your money, because I know Mr. Shirilla isn't a teacher anymore, I think. From the information that I've heard, Daddy doesn't have a job anymore because they are fucking trying to fight this too hard. Well, you guys are going to lose your house because you can't afford your mortgage. Let's pray to God your mortgage is done and it's owned. You know, like, I don't wish that you lose everything just for fighting for your child, because I understand a parent's will to fight for the child. Doesn't matter if they're wrong or right. I get that. I honestly do, even though I do not have my own seed. I've tried with I've tried with other women's kids. I did treat them like they were my own. And I cry when they're gone. Not the girl, the kids. It's embarrassing to see the parents at this point. It's 2026. This is 4 years already. Your daughter stays where she is, please. Like, I beg you, just stop this. For the future of men. Men need to see that women are being prosecuted for the wrong that they have done. Enough of letting women go. Women are at the point where they face zero repercussions. This story is 1000% dope. We fucking need this in society. Doesn't matter the little shit a woman does already. Little or big. You get fucked in the A, okay? You wonder why we don't want to talk to you anymore as a woman? You want to know why I won't fucking go out there and flirt anymore? Are you fucking smacked out of your fucking mind? I treat women like you're just a human being. That's what you wanted. You want to be equal. We're human. This is an important story. This is a very justified prosecution towards the female. She did wrong, man. There was nothing mentally fucked up with her. She wasn't on psychedelics. She didn't have alcohol in her system. She woke up like she was getting ready to go to work. She was good to go. Don't give me the fucking I'm crazy, I didn't remember fucking bullshit. Fuck you. Fucking kidding me? Just for fucking saying I don't remember. That should get you another 5 years in jail just for not trying to remember. Every time, I don't remember. And then you see her fucking come up for an interview in Netflix. That was obviously scripted. In her face, there was just like no sadness. Even 4 years, 3 years later, I can guarantee you that if I was sorry, I would still be shedding some tears. Man or female, just to understand the pain that I'm putting those two families through. Like, I can't live with myself. I don't think I could live with myself. Fuck the scripted shit. Like, here's a girl who's trying to do everything she can to get out of jail, man. That's what she's putting on the strongest female strategy. And she's going to ride that strategy out. It doesn't matter if she's in there for her full life sentence. She'll be coming out of jail saying, I still don't remember, I'm sorry. Fuck you, you don't. That's just a bunch of shit. You're trying to be a little bitch model, treating the man like a bitch always does, and then you to have a bitch reaction, thinking that you're just going to kill yourself and everybody's going to go with you because no one agrees with you in the car right now, so you're just going to end it all. And that's the amazing part in this story. She survives because she was in the wrong. That's why God took home the boys. Like, God took home the boys. The boys they don't, God ain't even gonna think twice. You're coming home, boys. Welcome to heaven, boys. Welcome to heaven, Damien and Dom. You are home now. That was not planned. That was evil at its most. And I'm, just so you both know, Dom and Damien, I'm going to make her live. She's going to survive. And we're going to see what kind of shit she tries to pull off, because she was wrong. She should just admit. If she admitted, she would have got less time in the slammer, I can guarantee you that. If she just comes out and admits, that will be time taken off a little bit. I can guarantee you 5 years will come off. She'll have a full life sentence. Not 30 plus. It'll be 25 years. She'll be out. You only got 21 more years to go, Shirilla. And I'm praying to God that you spend every minute there. Because I'm thinking of my exes. If the law would just have some common sense, instead of thinking, oh my God, all the paperwork we're going to have to push. Let's just listen to the girl and just put him away. We'll save ourselves a lot of work. Fuck the police is like what I like to say for all that shit. Fuck the police. I didn't touch a bitch in my life. All I've ever done was push them off me and give them a soft little tap in the bum. Like, calm the fuck down. How dare you try to hit me where I'm still got stitches here, you fuck. I almost died. I lived. You're trying to hit me in my soft egg spot and kick me in the nuts for the past 20 minutes. I've been getting beat up, but I can't push you off and give you a little bum a tap. But no, you go to the fucking police and fucking lie. Alicia Smith? Huh? What about Patricia Wishart? Huh? You dumb cunts? Huh? What about Kelly Gabriel? Huh? You fucking bitches? I say Kelly Gabriel because of your fucking daughter. Fuck you. Fuck you, Gabriels. Fucking Yorkton living motherfucking bitches. Fuck you. I got a DUI from that one because I'm helping their family with a death in their family. I'm doing as much work as I can to help them move these possessions out. And at the end of the day, everyone has a couple drinks with supper. 10:30 at night. I gotta fucking go, man. I gotta call the police because this fucking young 16-year-old girl that is the daughter of the woman I'm seeing is pulling rank on me. I'm in the fucking shower. Leave me the fuck alone. I get the fuck out and she's freaking out on me some more. I said, oh my God, you're the fattest chick I have ever met. Fucking that chick almost hit me. She pushed me out so much. She pushed me out of that house so hard. I was like, man, I'm calling the police on you. I'm going to try to save myself because as far as I know, this situation leads to girls are calling the police as soon as I walk away and I'm getting fucked in the A. But this time I called the police to try to save my A. And I get charged with the DUI because I had a couple drinks hours ago. Hours ago. I can't even feel the alcohol in me, but like, I'm a big guy. I don't feel the alcohol until a few drinks, you know? And to have a couple, it's like, but the way the law is, like I said, I won't even smoke weed and get in the vehicle after a few hours. If I drink, if I smoke, I go the next day. Fuck the law. The law is fucked. The law is made to make money. Okay? If you're innocent, you're going to get made. Money's going to be made off your sorry fucking innocent ass. And who fucking cares, right? Because the government talks about us like consumers and cattle in a 1960s document written by NASA and the US government, and they wrote it together on how they're going to control population. They actually call us cattle. And on the other cases, throughout history, we're consumers only. Fucking number. We're just cattle. And women, they get to act righteously, but at the same time, they get to show off their pornography all over TikTok and go head over heels with the pornography that they read. Like, so your dream is to milk a fucking cow and give that cow head and sex and obey a cow? Wait, you want to obey some more fucking weird shit? You just fucking go watch to see what kind of shit women fucking goon to and brag about it. But I've never seen a man online brag about the pornography that they watch. Like, that's some psychopathic shit on the femme side. Femininity is beyond toxic at this point. They get to go online and brag about their pornography, brag about how much shit they've done wrong, and nothing happens to a poor little me little girl.
On Netflix called The Crash. And Shirilla told the documentary's producers, I'm not a monster. I'm not saying I'm innocent. I was a driver of a tragedy, but I'm not a murderer. And when asked about her relationship with Dominic, Shirilla said, we would have probably been married by now. We argued, we got back together, we broke up, we got back together. It was rocky, but it was good. We were in love. And it turns out this issue of whether Mackenzie Shirilla...
Not when Dom and other people that aren't even in their friend clique they're coming up to the police making statements after that Dom has been trying for a long time to get out of this relationship, and this bitch keeps coming back crazier and crazier and crazier every fucking time. It's nuts.
And Dominic were in a good place relationship-wise. That
Fucking
is an
bitches,
issue
man.
that was a part of
Give me
Shirilla's
a
appeals.
fucking-
And so to talk about her arguments and what is going on, the appeals court, right, the Supreme Court, I want to welcome back on here on Sidebar. So happy to have her, criminal defense attorney Diane Menashe. Diane, thank you so much for taking the time. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
So I understand you didn't watch, the complete documentary, but you've seen a bunch of parts of it. I think it just generally
Sucks
speaking,
because
have to
I gotta
ask you,
have.
because one of the things that was noted
Oh,
at the
man,
end
I
of
really
the
gotta start
documentary,
using the
it seems
headset.
her attorney was in
Sorry,
the room with
guys.
her, was with Mackenzie as she's doing this interview. Like, would you recommend a client sit down and do this as, the appellate arguments are happening? Yes, she's been defeated.
hear
We're
the
going to talk
fucking
about
mic
why and what's
talking
next.
over me.
But
Fuck
would you ever
this.
recommend for a client to do
Sorry,
an
guys,
interview
I'll put
like
my
this
headset
from behind bars for a
Hopefully my
documentary?
mic works.
I think it goes one step further. Not only would I not recommend, but I would stop them from doing.
Hello? Good. Good. Oh, but that's not good. That's not good. Oh my fucking god. Give me a second here. That's why I don't like using the headset right now. Okay. Sorry, guys. As soon as I turn the headset on, everything gets messed. Well, I won't. Let's see if that worked. Shit. Fucking headsets, man. I gotta get the headset working when I'm not on stream. Fuck. This sucks, man. Why the fuck? Everything has to be output, input, and then when you change shit, nothing works. Fuck, man. Getting an echo, I see.
Idea.
I don't want to have a fucking echo on my stream. What the fuck?
Because anything she says could be used again.
Okay, I think if we just turned that down a little bit, that might help. Okay, let's continue. Fucking microphone. Doesn't do enough noise cancellation for me. I hate using the headset, honestly.
Against her in the appellate arguments or in a future trial?
Well, for sure. And if they were to get the relief they're seeking, which is ultimately a new trial, everything she's saying could be used against her. I also just think, in terms of, which is really the main concern, is obviously anything could be used against her.
So I want to go through some of this with you and get your expertise and why this has happened. I want to go back to how this could also affect her moving forward, because after Shirilla was convicted and she was sentenced to life in prison with her first parole eligibility after 15 years, her legal team turned to the appeal process. And so to give an example, she filed an appeal with the 8th District Court of Appeals in Ohio. And in its response, to give everybody an idea, for example, the court announced that the judgment was affirmed. So meaning the appeals court essentially didn't find Mackenzie Shirilla's arguments to be strong enough for a reversal. And just to go through some of this and get your insight on it, so from her direct appeal, quote, the juvenile court erred when it concluded that the state presented sufficient credible evidence to demonstrate probable cause to believe that Shirilla purposely and or knowingly caused the deaths of DR and DF. So essentially my understanding was the argument would be this case should have never left the juvenile court system, that there wasn't enough solid evidence or credible evidence. Shirilla was 17 when the crash happened and reportedly turned 18 while recovering in the hospital. And in its response, the trial court said, at this stage of the proceedings, the state was not required to prove the truth of the allegations against Shirilla. It had to present credible evidence showing probable cause supporting each element of the offenses charged. Based on the evidence presented at the probable cause hearing, we disagree with Shirilla that the state failed to meet this burden. Now, Diane, as far as what I've just told you, Do I have it right about here? And do I have it right about what's going on here? And talk to me about the decision to move a case from juvenile court to adult court.
Well, you do have it right. I will say, though, in Ohio, murder and aggravated murder are mandatory bind-over cases. So, and they're not discretionary. And the only thing in those mandatory bind-over cases that's necessary is the state, as you just said, put forth enough to meet a probable cause burden. The judge in those instances in juvenile court, that hearing is literally just the four corners of, do they have probable cause? And I think we're just really good to remind everyone is certainly that's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. It's just sufficient evidence that a crime has been committed. And it's really just kind of a check and balance in a mandatory bind-over situation. So the state presented that mandatory bind-over. It was sent up to the adult court, and it's as simple as that.
And talk to me about this second one, because it's kind of related. This second assignment of error. The state failed to introduce sufficient evidence to sustain the convictions in violation of Shirilla's right to due process of law, as guaranteed by Article 1, Section 10 of the Ohio Constitution, as well as the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Basically, before we go further, Diane, what does that mean? What are they saying there?
Well, I think there's an interesting issue is that the state at the juvenile level presented evidence for both aggravated murder and murder. And as I understand it, there wasn't probable cause found to support aggravated murder, which is prior calculation and design. But the trial court judge at the juvenile level found certainly that there was evidence to support purpose or intent. And that's why ultimately when it was bound over, they ended up charging her with the 2 counts of murder and all of the other felonious assaults, et cetera. So I think really what they're doing in that argument, Jesse, is they're trying to tee up a constitutional issue, because I know, as you know, the Supreme Court of Ohio or any state will only take a case if there's a constitutional issue at play. So really, they were just teeing it up in the 8th District, trying to get into the Supreme Court.
And the idea is that if there's insufficient evidence, it violates a client's constitutional rights, due process rights?
That's exactly right. And then if you lose at the direct appeal level, the hope is that you preserve that constitutional issue, and the Supreme Court will then take it.
Interesting. So again, the court said, the appeals court wrote, this evidence was sufficient for the fact finder to conclude beyond a reasonable doubt that Shirilla crashed the vehicle purposely intending to kill Flanagan and Russo. We therefore overrule Shirilla's second assignment of error. And to me, it seems the answer would be yes, right? I mean, when you look at this case and you think about the evidence that was presented, what was it for you? Was it the accelerator? Was it the surveillance footage? I think the accelerator of the car not braking, it was, pretty strong.
And I think between the black box, right, which is the accelerator, certainly the turn of the vehicle, which is, that footage, and the accelerator, and I think not just the accelerator, but critically never braking. Right. So that is really huge. And I think obviously she made some statements afterwards that were clearly problematic for her. But I think just the acceleration, it's a 35. The upward speed was noted to be 69. And then we know that she's not under, the influence of alcohol. I know they raised that POTS issue, but as I read it, they pulled her B&V record. She'd never raised any medical issues before. She had no other medical, records to support that diagnosis. So I think the evidence showed she was real clear-headed when she put that accelerator on and didn't brake.
This next one's interesting. It's a next alleged error put forward by the defense. Shirilla's convictions are against the manifest weight of the evidence. The court wrote, reversal on manifest weight grounds is reserved for the exceptional case in which the evidence weighs heavily against the conviction, and they say this case is not that. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised based on the conversation we're having. My other question would be, what's an example of where that would work? What's a law school example of where it's a reversal on manifest weight grounds? What is something where you're like, there's no way the jury or the judge should have found someone guilty?
Where I tend to see the manifest weight argument actually really have some teeth is in self-defense cases.
Ooh,
where, where it's like, and I have a really viable self-defense case right now, and I could say this truly. I think that the manifest weight there could really be applicable. But where they're going at here is they're claiming there just isn't circumstantial evidence to show intent. And I think we've already talked about it, the accelerator, the lack of braking, her statements, the history of the relationship. Circumstantially, right, the state certainly seemed to put forth a case that she had intent to kill. purpose.
This one's interesting. This one's different. Assignment of error 4 goes to something we've talked about a lot here on Sidebar. 404B evidence. So evidence of apparent wrongdoing by a defendant, not necessarily directly committed to the crime. We talked about this a lot in the Alec Murdaugh case, right? Financial crimes evidence, prejudice the jury, character, right? So Shirilla's defense argues the trial court erred by permitting the state to introduce character and or other acts evidence during its case in chief, thereby depriving Shirilla of her right to a fair trial in violation of the United States and Ohio Constitution.
It's kind of weird. It's like I hate letting any dishes pile up. I literally hate it. Pretty much, like if I'm done, I clean up my plate in the sink and then it's good to go. I just leave it on the cupboard counter because it's clean. I try to exercise my dishwasher, but it's hard. I don't like having dishes pile up just to use the dishwasher, so to use the dishwasher, I might put in like 5 plates, 5 bowls, whatever, silverware, cups. You know, being one person, you don't use a lot. So it's like, alright, might as well get that out of the way while I do my tea. Oh yeah, I forgot my microphone over there. Shit. Fuck. Trying to keep it lower mic in here too, because it's like, got the AC on. It's the summer. Oh my fuck, is it hard right now. I don't know how I'm gonna. I gotta get the headset working. Sorry, guys. Hey, at least I'm thinking of my mic now. There's been times where I've been muted because I forgot to turn it on. There was once that I actually had someone come into my room that I never noticed the name of, and he's like, "You're muted." And that was the one time I had my mic upside down, hanging down, and because my cat nudging stuff, he definitely touched the power button on me, and yeah. I really got to think of the mic a lot as I stream. It's like wherever I go, I must bring you. Oh, I got up. I must bring you here too. Fucking microphone. And now, because the AC, and I can't hear very well with the AC on. So at least I listened to this a couple times. So I know what's going on and what's being said. Gotta make it quieter on the screen. And then just to get the sound out into this thing, it stops using my mic. So I'm like, gotta forgive me, guys. I figured I'd just kind of chit chat for a second because I was away with the tea. I'm just about to get up again and grab my tea. I'm gonna put the cream in my tea. So I'll press play.
Institutions. In its response, the court points out that the trial judge already settled this issue. Quote, the state had filed both a notice of intent to use other acts evidence under Evidence Rule 404B, as well as a motion to introduce other acts evidence, including evidence that on July 17, 2022, Shirilla was driving on Interstate 71 with Russo as a passenger when she threatened to immediately crash the vehicle during a disagreement between them, and that she was observed hitting him with her hands during that incident. Also, the notice indicated that the state intended to introduce evidence that on occasion in July 2022, Shirilla came to Russo's home, and when he refused to allow her entry, angrily yelled at him, beat on the door, and threatened him. Now, by the way, we got our hands on these phone calls that were apparently recorded by Dominic, in which he and Mackenzie Shirilla can be heard arguing and threatening one another. Just want to play that for you.
Why would I just let you in my house if you break up with me and you're threatening to break my... Like, you're threatening to key my car, threatening to break the doors.
I will key your car
like,
if you do not let me in the house.
You're gonna key my car if I don't let
If you don't let me in the house, yes.
What the
Yeah, I know, so just let me in the house.
No, like, why can't you just be, like calm at least for a second? I can feel
I
comfortable
am
letting you
calm.
in the house.
I am calm. I don't think you get to decide that with your weird.
No, I
He literally
can't.
threatening to
Have a
keep. He
problem.
literally threatening to key my car and. What else he threatening?
Dom, I'm gonna give you one last chance to open the door. I'm gonna leave and do what I said I was gonna do.
Now, the appeals court response continues. The state stated that this evidence was not being offered to show Shirilla's bad character, but rather to prove Shirilla's motive, intent, knowledge, absence of mistake or accident, to provide context with respect to Shirilla's relationship with Russo. Specifically, the state argued as follows. Shirilla's past threats and aggression toward Russo provide an important perspective of how Shirilla responds in situations where she is displeased or in disagreement with others. Further, the evidence shows that Shirilla was aware of her ability to...
I just gotta say, I can't help not say this is like the majority of women. They really are. Even if you're a fat, ugly child chick in elementary and high school, a lot of those chicks, they still have the same attitude. And that's the weirdest. It's like, okay, maybe if you're like to die for gorgeous, I might put up with that shit. I just can't anymore. I can't. I gotta live my life. I got so much to do that women are robbing everything from me. So it's no more for women. It's no more. Ruby is my best friend. Love that chick. So that's how it is. It's like best friends to the end. Got one friend. That's all I need. One friend. That's all I need after my parents are dead, actually. One friend. To protect my life from these kind of attitudes. I know my friend doesn't do shit like that. And as friends, shit like that doesn't happen. Because it's not like, you're mine and nobody else can have you. No, it's like, we're best friends and everyone could have you if you were that kind of person, you know? It's like, okay. But man, how many guys out there, seriously? You're going to yourself, yep, but you won't. And that, this is where the incel word comes from, okay? Like, you will just bend over and take it up the ass and do whatever. You incel. No, I will not bend over and take it up the ass and, like, women who know me from relationships know that I have always broken up with you. After a long time, I have broken up with you. The only time I remember being a girl breaking up with me is, oh my god, that is a great fucking stream for content. My graduate high school, which is never going to be alive again to this day. It's a dead named high school. It will never exist again, that named school. It grew up, it's been along for long haul, but once it reached Regina, Saskatchewan, one man killed that high school. And that's a pedo story for later. To my future followers, now Let's stop the side chit chat, you dumb motherfucker. Right? Let's go. Let's go. Cha.
Cause harm to the victims, especially by means of her own vehicle, and how she could use the power of threats and control to ultimately reach the outcome she desired. Diane, does this decision make sense? Because on one hand, you can understand, right? Like, you don't want to just throw everything at the defense. You just a defendant that may be highly prejudicial, that's not related. You know, the jury's going to say, well, if they acted this way in this occasion, she must have done this here. But why is this different? Or maybe you disagree. I don't know. You tell me.
I think it actually meets the exception and was properly let in. I would just say that absence of mistake is really huge, right? And not only that, Jesse, the acts that were allowed in under 404 were really timely, right? They were very close in time to the ultimate incident itself, which is really an important factor that courts weigh into. You know, it's one thing.
I should show off all my bands. I love to put different color straps on. That's what my background is right now. Not I'm not even bisexual. Like I said in the past, it's like I'm pretty sure everybody goes through that. Oh my god, should I be gay already? Fucking women, crazy bitches. Should I be gay? Fuck, it'd just be so much easier if I was fucking gay. No, I'm not gay. The D makes me want to yak. That's for sure. The male body is definitely not what I get turned on by. That's for sure. I cannot get aroused by a male body. So, man, I'm not even bisexual. I just like all the fucking colors, alright? And you could tell I like all the colors because if I was truly gay or bi or whatever, um, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be using Roman fucking numerals. That's some old man bullshit. Old man bullshit. That's right. Kind of old man. Actually, I guess there is some old gays and bis out there. Can't deny the originals or the ones who became. I can guarantee you because of women. Shit. And the chicks that became lesbians out there, they're like, well, that's because I became lesbian. Fucking guys. Fucking guys. I know it's a hard struggle. Like I said, there's only going to be like 10% of the opposite sex that you're going to be like, you could mentally, spiritually attach to, you know? But where is the 10% in the population that you're here with? Maybe half of the 10% is already married, let's say. That sucks. Now you got left with 5%. Well, shit. Where's the 5% of my opposite sex out there? I don't know I don't know where they are, man. I don't know. I don't know. Oh. 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 Thinking of chicks in the past, it's like I guess there's one girl I guess I'd want to apologize to for breaking up with her for following Alicia. Alicia was like my weakness. It's like, man, if Alicia knocked on my door right now, I don't know if I could. That's a hard one to resist for me for some reason. She was my bread and butter. If only she wasn't so damn by fucking polar, man. Or so fucking stupid. I don't know what the fuck. She was mentally retarded or something. Oh, did I put up with. That was like my longest relationship. Shit. Fucking women are crazy. The way they make a man's mind and actions. Oh, shit.
To be introducing bad acts that happened years prior, but this was like the same 30 days, so really significant there. I also think, though, that issue that was raised on appeal, this was a bench trial. And literally, a judge is also an attorney, right? They're trained in law, and they're meant to. There's an assumption that they will know how to appropriately weigh that type of other acts evidence, and not use it to prejudice the defendant in a certain way. I would say, and you know, when I've been reading up on this case, I mean, what strikes me is like, why was this not tried to a jury? I mean, some people would say because the facts are so bad, but Jesse, you and I know, you need one, right? And certainly, you know, with a judge, it's only one. And so that's a really interesting issue. But I think the 404B that should have been let in, I think any judge would let it in. And moreover, like, it's a bench trial. So raising it on appeal, it has even less teeth, I think.
Let me ask you about that. I don't know if it's the cynical version of me, but it is interesting to think about. Whenever we talk about what evidence can or cannot be let in, if you talk about the evidence that's not allowed in, the jury, unless they were improperly reading news articles about it, they will have no idea about this evidence. They should know nothing about it. The judge knows everything. The judge knows every piece of evidence that wasn't allowed in. Are we, generally speaking, confident that a judge is going to put that to the side and said, I'm putting my judge cap on to determine whether or not this evidence is admissible, and if it's not admissible, I'm going to put it to the side. And then when it comes time to make the decision, I'm never even going to think about that once again because, you know, on one hand you say, listen, that's their responsibility. They know what's allowed in. They know what to consider more than maybe an average everyday person. But someone might look at that and say, I'm skeptical.
So I'm going to answer this in an indirect way by saying in 29 years, I've never tried a case to the bench.
There you go. Okay. There you go. People.
Did you just... Seriously, did you just hear what she just... Look at... Like, I love that, right? Like, you think I'm fucking dumb? That's good. You think I'm fucking dumb? You think I'd fucking just put it to the bench? You fucking stupid? Right? I'd never do that shit. Fuck, I'm not dumb. I'm fucking trying to get my clients the best. What the fuck were the Shirillas thinking, right? And not just the Shirillas. They're fucking liar. He tilts his head this way like this because other reasons. Man, how could you go to the bench over a jury when you had the decision? Oh my God. I would take a jury. Man. That's a suicide run, yo. Oh man, that's a suicide run. How did the Shirillas do that? Oh man, right? How could you? You think I'm that fucking dumb? I'm like one of the best lawyers in the world. I'm not that fucking stupid.
Will make of it what they will with that.
It is literally true. I'm on the cusp of it in this self-defense case.
and she said in like what 29 years she said she has never taken one of her clients to the bench, always to the jury.
that I have, and it's like it feels so jarring to me. But I've never tried a case in 29 years truly to
Okay.
the bench.
And to be clear, I'm not making any accusations about this
No,
judge or any judge whatsoever.
of
It's
course.
just, I know people will have that question. That's all. That's as we
For
talked about.
sure, and of course, and I'm going to say this. I mean, we want the system to work in that way,
Yes.
right? We
Yeah.
want, of course, judges to be able to sort of narrow the evidence and understand the law and apply it appropriately. And one would say, well, that's why you try it to the court and not to a jury.
Right.
But I think you raise a really good point, right? That evidence is kept from jurors, that judges know that that evidence is there, even if it's excluded. And we're all humans,
shit
right?
too, right?
There's that expression, once the bell is rung, you can't unring it.
Yeah.
That's really, that's applicable in this situation.
So I want to go back to something. So I mentioned that the appeals process has been going on for several years. There's been different avenues. It could get a little confusing, but there was this other attempt. So our understanding was another appeal was filed after Mackenzie Shirilla sought post-conviction relief. Our understanding is it was denied because she missed the filing deadline. So the court's decision came down this past March, and it read, quote, during that direct appeal, the trial transcripts were filed on October 23rd, 2023. Transcripts from the juvenile court bind-over proceedings were filed later on December 15th, 2023. On October 24th, 2024, Shirilla filed a petition for post-conviction relief. In the direct appeal, the clerk docketed the criminal trial transcripts as filed on October 24th, 2023. The trial court dismissed the petition as time-barred on May 1st, 2025, concluding it was filed 1 day past the 365-day jurisdictional deadline. And the court then explains, quote, the trial transcript trigger. She contends that the trial court erred when it concluded that the petition to vacate or set aside convictions were untimely. Shirilla argues the 365-day clock did not begin until December 15th, 2023, when the juvenile bindover transcripts were filed. The state conversely maintains that the clock was triggered on October 24th, 2023, the date the clerk noted on the docket that the trial transcripts from the criminal trial were filed. The state argues that a trial is a proceeding to determine guilt or innocence, and therefore a juvenile probable cause hearing does not fall under the statutory definition of a trial. So, Diane, that's very confusing. Although to say, I mean, I think her legal team tried to argue.
I guess the other thing that I want to mention too, because I don't know, like, I think he talks about it, but like when she's in jail and stuff too, they're caught trying to talk pig Latin or something, trying to figure out, is there any other kind of like medical excuse that we could use to try to get me out of jail? So some of the evidence coming from inside jail and some of the people I've known her from jail that I've seen, yeah, she's a pampered little girl that and has been caught on the jail phone recordings that they're talking like pig Latin and like literally trying to like plan different medical reasonings to how this could have happened, and nothing has come out yet where she's like saying anything that she remembered to her parents yet. So either she's really weirdly, she can't remember anything, and she hasn't even told her parents, or she is really good at playing a devil's hand. Like, there has been some famous people in the past who have done what they've done and tried to exploit that. And there's this weird law going around that they talk about closer to the end I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'll postpone.
That it was, 2024 was a leap year, maybe there's an exception. But talk to me about why this is so important, this deadline, how it gets you into the right court, how it could affect post-conviction relief. Like, what should we be knowing about this?
I think there's some irony here, if I can, because
Sure.
the issue normally raised in post-conviction is ineffective assistance of counsel of the trial lawyer. And here's the truth, there's those of us that try cases and those of us that do appellate work, and we're usually not the same, kind of body of lawyers. And if you're an appellate lawyer, like the calendar and counting the days, it's like that should be your wheelhouse. And so I'll just say, you know what, they missed a deadline. I actually went down the rabbit hole in their argument on the briefing and why they didn't miss the deadline, and really it was just a calculation error. They just missed it. And when you miss it, you miss it. I mean, it is a hard and fast rule, and there's no ability to do a motion to extend or et cetera. So she doesn't have any potential post-conviction relief.
After the appeals court denied the appeal, the Shirillas took the case, our understanding, to the state Supreme Court. I think this was like their second time doing so. They had earlier appealed to the court. The judges declined to review the case. There is this latest request for review, and this is where Mackenzie Shirilla's defense, they brought up another issue that they had with her case, and it says, quote, "The primary issue at trial concerned Shirilla's intent. In support of its theory, the state introduced testimony and evidence suggesting that Shirilla was motivated by her rocky and tumultuous relationship with DR. To that end, the state elicited testimony about the July 17th incident, as well as testimony from DR's relatives about Shirilla and DR's sometimes tumultuous relationship. Apart from these prior unrelated incidents, however, the state failed to introduce any evidence suggesting that Shirilla harbored animosity or ill will towards DR at the time of the accident, that one could reasonably conclude that she purposely crashed the vehicle with the intent of killing DR and DF. To the contrary, the evidence overwhelmingly established that Shirilla and DR were getting along well and appeared to be in love in the days and hours leading up to the incident." Now, police interviews with teens who knew Shirilla and Dominic, they reveal a little bit more about their relationship.
Kenzie, I know from a lot of people telling me, and even her closest friends, that Kenzie and Dom used to fight all the time.
Okay.
And she used to road rage all the time. I remember someone told me that she dropped Dom off on the highway because they got in a fight. So she was just known for being that kind of girl in high school and as well out of high school.
Anger issues.
Yeah, they called her Baby Kush.
Yeah, what's that? Just because she smokes so much weed?
She smokes weed, and there's pictures on her Instagram, but I'm sure she took it down now.
Yeah,
of her in cars smoking weed.
Yeah, we have those. So she road raged, even kicked him out on the highway once.
Yeah, she just drove him crazy, and we just don't know how he dealt with it.
Was anything suspicious about their behavior?
Not at all. Not at all. They seem completely normal.
Now, Diane, here's where I'm looking at this. I'm curious your thoughts. There is a difference between intent and motive, right? Like, if you can establish, and like, you don't even have to establish the why of why she, drove the car at 100 miles per hour. If you can say it never broke, she wasn't under intoxication, that's all you need for intent. Like, are they kind of mixing a little bit between intent and motive, or am I wrong?
You're spot on. And in fact, the state has to prove the elements of each offense beyond a reasonable doubt. And in no statute in Ohio is motive an element. So their argument is that motive piece. Well, it's not an element of any of the offenses for which she's charged. So it's totally irrelevant. And I think you've nailed it with the intent, right? The speed, the lack of braking. There were also, as you said, some friends that testified that certainly, gave evidence that there was real friction in the relationship. I also think, just Jesse, if you and I are in a relationship hypothetically, and one of us is recording our arguments, that also says, there are issues there, so much so that I'm recording an argument with us.
There's the word intent, which came up in the documentary. I don't know if you saw this, but at the end, so she's accused of speaking to her lawyer at the end of the interview. And she goes back and she goes, I really want to be big on the no intent. She said that. That was very key, right? And by the way, just a few days ago, on May 16th, the state filed its own memorandum arguing that there's no need for the state's highest court to take up the case. We haven't got word on the Supreme Court. But when I think about that, her saying that in the documentary, I go back to my initial question. Does that affect what the Supreme Court may do here? Her saying, and I don't know, I mean, there's been mixed feelings about the documentary, but you tell me, her really stressing the no intent in the documentary, can that be a factor?
I think it goes back to what we were talking about just a few minutes ago of like, do judges really set aside, right? Like, things that they should under the law. And here's the thing, there's no question that there's a real potential that one of the Supreme Court justices that's going to hear, or rather read the briefing, or their law clerks, right? Who are the ones who are deciding whether to take a case or not ultimately, or certainly are the ones writing the opinions. They'll see the news, right? The documentary's all over. And so I just think like there is that human element of, one of the law clerks for a Supreme Court justice could well, hear and know about the case just from the media perspective, which given the feedback on the documentary, I think is not helpful to her. And Jesse, that comment at the end, and I did see the clip, I mean, it comes across as so manufactured and not authentic when she says that about intent. I mean, it was a little...
That's from the Netflix documentary. So she recovers from the accident, okay? And there is a text message from a modeling agency. They reach out to Mackenzie, say, we really like this photo, can we use it, and this and that. And it was basically her first into the industry of modeling. And this is a few months after she had recovered, before all the arresting of her happened and this and that. So she sounds excited to work with them. Okay, one, I understand that everyone has to get their life going after a traumatic accident. Whether or not you're guilty or innocent of this, which is just crazy to think that you're innocent. But after the accident, she really wasn't playing the actual role of, oh my God, I lost one of my best friends and my boyfriend. And just to top it off before I shut up again, in the Netflix documentary, she says, if that accident didn't happen, me and Dom would probably be married already. And it's like, no, you guys would be fucking done. How many more times does this poor man, 20-year-old man, Dom, have to tell you it's fucking over? He cheated on you too at one point, basically, because he's looking for an actual way out. Right? And even when he's found a way out, she's still able, with her weird femininity powers, still keep pulling him back in when he has ended it so many times. It's like, no, you're not.
Project.
Goes back to the question, was it advisable to, do that? Look, I wanted your perspective on something else. So in the meantime, you have the families of Dom and Davion. They're dealing with their own thoughts, their own feelings surrounding the appeals, the drama that's associated with this documentary. I had a chance to speak with Christine Russo, Dominic's older sister. She started her own podcast. It's called Big Sister Unhinged. This was in part to help her just process everything that's happened. But she said that the love and support the family is receiving means the world to her.
My family is very thankful for sticking up for Dom. Like, it's just been overall a better experience. And the only other option that I had was to sit back and watch everybody else online talk about my brother and talk out the side of their neck, act like they know facts, or, that they're all medical experts or mechanical experts. And, it was either sit back and watch the internet run wild with misinformation or do this.
So, did you watch the whole documentary? Did you sit through the whole? Did you watch all of it?
I got to preview it. The producers flew in from the UK in January, and I previewed it then. Helped make some edits. They took out some things that were not nice things that were said about my brother from certain people in the cast. And but since it's been out as of last Friday, I attempted to watch it for a minute or two, and I can't get further than that. I don't want to see it. I'm gonna try not to get sad, but so I try not to cry and get upset, especially in these interviews, but I had one with Jumpsuit Pablo. It was like a week ago, and like the only time that I got upset, I went to say he had told me in the calls that like she just doesn't show any remorse, and my thought was, oh my god, she doesn't care about my brother at all. She doesn't feel bad. She doesn't think about him, and to me, it's like he died. Like she didn't even love him. You know what I'm saying? He died for no reason, and that really just that pulls my.
Yeah, I think it was all the looks that she was using, right? Like how he looked, and then on top of it, Dom was known where he was actually like really good as a businessman. He had a lot of shit going for him, like buying and reselling, and then the biggest of them all was he was trying to get his own clothing line out. Right? So this guy, he's like treating Mackenzie with like a bunch of designer brands. Very expensive shit, man. Very expensive shit Dom was getting from Mackenzie. And so to me, it was like a gold digger situation as well, right? Where it wasn't really true love, but she can see how much she can use in the future from Dom. And if you see one of my episodes not too long ago about the toxicity of femininity, it's like she's playing the toxicity of femininity to a 100% T, man. Mackenzie Shirilla. It's
Heart out like that she just doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no anymore since she was tried and convicted and sentenced. It's never in all her calls or her actions. I haven't gotten a letter of I missed like nothing. You would have thought that she missed Dom, you know, but he's not talked about. That she doesn't care whatsoever. So that really it makes me feel like he died for no reason.
Now, we've learned that Christine launched a petition. It's to create what's called Dom's Law, so a law to change the current Son of Sam laws. And part of the petition reads, Son of Sam laws were first created in the late 1970s after public outrage that serial killer David Berkowitz could profit from his crimes. At the time, lawmakers were primarily concerned about book deals, movie rights, and interviews, and paid media contracts. Today, criminals are able to profit long before a book or movie deal is ever signed. For notoriety-seeking offenders, attention itself is the ultimate currency. Convicted violent offenders can easily convert public attention into paid clicks, live stream gifts, merchandise, paid appearances, and crowdfunding, often hiding these profits behind family members, fan pages, LLCs, or other loopholes. Our current laws are outdated because they were written long before TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, podcasts, and affiliate links were even thought about.
so this I think is a terrible thing. So if this was a real law, like how does Netflix make this documentary like realistically? How would they realistically like be able to? And so if the convicted person is trying to make profit off of their stuff, again, if you look at it in that sense, if they're able to sell their story, their life story, like for instance, me doing YouTube and sharing my life throughout my streams. It's not giving you my life in one stream, it's giving you my life throughout everything that I'm doing here, right? Because when I go off topic a little bit, that's when you hear my life a little bit. So if I'm actually guilty of a bad crime and there's a lot of media about it and in jail or out of jail, I could make money off of my personal life story and what I've done wrong. They're going to try to like stop it so that I can't make money. Now, everyone should know that if you go to jail, you come out. Do you know what kind of jobs are left for you? And thank God I have actual brain damage. And I literally can't work anymore. Because, like, I'd be fucked. I went to jail for no reason. Zero reasons. My whole life. Just because women. I don't agree with how you think, basically. And it drives you nuts eventually to the point where you just call the police and say a bunch of lies. And then you fuck someone in the ass and my life is over. Well, thank God I have brain damage. Because if I didn't have brain damage, what? Am I supposed to be a prostitute now? Am I supposed to sell drugs now? Is that the importance of the law making jail so that anybody that goes to jail starts pushing our drugs and our sex work more? Like, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? So this is the stupidest shit ever. You're telling a person who's went through a life-changing experience, gets out of jail, tries to make a living, and this is the only thing he can do is try to teach people his side of the story. You know, maybe they're doing it for good or bad. It kind of doesn't really matter. What if it is mostly for good and the person changed and they're not the person that they were then? They're coming out of jail and they're like so full of love and they don't know how to express it or get it. And now they got to be a criminal somehow because now they can't even tell people their story and try to live a better life around that. The world that North America has become is a world that only runs off the dollar. Everything in North America, there is an idea that the law is being created around that keeps a strong and protects a consumer. So if you do that, basically you're protecting criminals in the long run and only letting in a bunch of innocent people because you don't listen to both sides of the story. You don't really do the investigation work like you should be doing. Because if you did do the investigation work, I wouldn't have had to go to jail. And women should be prosecuted for this shit because all of the tax dollars that are going in to investigate a bunch of lying cunts. And this is just a lying cunt. As far as I can see, evidence, there's just nothing. No, don't tell me there's a medical issue. Mm-mm. Don't fucking talk to me about no fucking medical issue. She fucking goes to jail for the rest of her life. Fuck you. And fuck the parents, basically. Fucking stop trying. You're embarrassing yourselves. Yes, give some money to your baby girl in jail till you die. Sounds like a great plan. Go visit her. Can't wait till she gets out. Awesome. But until then, she sits and she gets prosecuted the way every person should be. The law should be investigating women and in their phone calls and look into the text. Like that's what these fucking phones are for. It's a digital fucking fingerprint. You take our fucking phones and you investigate the fucking relationship that's happening, and you fucking see the toxicity from the one person to the next. And you fucking find out who's wrong, and whoever is lying to the law gets prosecuted because that is against the fucking law. You fucking lie to the police, and now you're fucking sending people to jail for no reason because the fucking police don't do their job. Like, digital fucking fingerprint is right there. Give me a fucking break. And that's why I would like to say, fuck the police. Like, I need the police because I have actual neighbors that are just as crazy as my exes. And I can only put up with enough of their shit until they actually go batshit crazy. And like I'm saying, you fucking rip my fucking sports car door open on me and pull me out of my car? Like, man, if this was like 200 years ago, there is a chance I might have killed you. But because of all the laws to make money in this fucking North America way, it's all about money. It's a bad. This is just fucked up, man. Just a fucked up world.
This petition calls on lawmakers to create a modern, constitutionally sound law that prevents convicted violent offenders, especially those convicted of homicide or crimes causing serious bodily injury, from turning crime-based notoriety into personal profit, perks, business opportunities, or indirect financial gain. And we're going to put a link to that petition in our show notes if you guys are interested.
So they like literally like single it out, right? Prevents convicted violent offenders, especially the ones of homicide, bodily injury. They don't even say the pedos. That's fucked up. Okay. So it's only preventing the criminal from making money, not Netflix. You can't do that legally. You can't make money off of me. So then that's kind of contradicting what YouTube is all about. So I can't make a video off of this. Like, this is just how stupid it sounds in the end.
Interested in learning more.
Don't sign that fucking petition.
What do you think about that?
Well, I just inherently, I think we've seen a lot of bad law created as a reaction of certain high profile cases. And here's my response to this one in particular, or is just that there's a lot of innocent people that are actually convicted of crimes. And even if there's not a lot, some viewer thinks there are innocent individuals that are convicted of serious violent crimes. And for them to not be able to use social media and to use other platforms to either outsource and pay for the legal defense.
She's stating it right there. There's actual innocent people that have been convicted of some seriously heinous crimes. A lawyer working 29 years saying this shit.
that actually is the only way or mechanism they might actually be exonerated. It just is, you know, it strikes me in a way, right? And also, I will just say, Jesse, this is the world we live in. Whether you hate it or love it, like, this is the world
This
we
is the
live in, and
world.
it's
You love it
consumer
or hate it.
based. And the only way that
I'm
people
going
can
to the
make money,
Philippines when I
you know, that
retire.
have been
I'm
convicted
gonna
for
die in
crimes is
bush.
because there is a receptive audience for it. And certainly you can't control that. But I think really it can't be underscored
Build
that
me a
there
fucking
are
bamboo
people,
hut.
individuals that are certainly and have sought relief from being able to, you know, get funding
Dig
for
out the
litigation
ground.
and then have
Make an
been, you know, found to
oasis
be
out
actually
there.
innocent. So
Die.
to close that loophole and deny them that opportunity, I think would be gross.
Diane Menashe, thank you so much for taking the time to break it down with me.
That's me
Really,
saying
really
I
interesting
hate
stuff. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And
I
that's all
hate
we
a
have for
North
you right now here on
American
Sidebar,
lifestyle,
everybody. Thank you
sort of.
so much for joining us. And as
It's-
always, please subscribe on YouTube.
It's hard. Here, I'm gonna just like raise my cam over here so you can see his name. Alright, Jesse Weber, Law and Crime, Sidebar. I'm going to subscribe to this guy actually. There you go, big guy. You deserve it. He was able to make this video without using Netflix crap. So kudos. You know, and I don't want to like go off and go into everyone's like info on this. There is some shit if you go and research Mackenzie Shirilla. It's really easy to see. Like, you've heard me fucking talk to this stream, and that's me. It is what it is. Mackenzie and her parents. I'm not sorry. It is what it is. You like it or you hate it, right? Shouldn't live in North America and act like a white woman. Oh boy. The shit this world is going through. This is some of the shit, like, I want to do an episode on these weird sex robots because of the loneliness of how men and both women, right? There is a lot of good in my mind thinking of it because all I think about is like the good you can get out of it. I'm not thinking of like the bad, disgusting, toxic shit that I can do with one of these love bots. But I just see the awesomeness because, like I said, for the next rest of my life, the next half of my life, I'm not going to put a day of work into another woman. I go on Facebook dating site and I basically tease. Again, I'm not gonna message you first. What? So you think I'm like a fucking creep? Fuck off. Fuck off. I sit there. I look damn fucking pretty. I say what it is. I tell women good luck. It's the way it is. Now, I wouldn't mind, I guess, having another body in the bed with me. So I've thought about the sex dolls. personally, realistically, just to have a body in the bed. You know, a cat doesn't, not yet anyway, for me, he's too young. There's no real actual cuddling as he's getting older, growing into his fur and his paws, experiencing it, becoming his own. But like just a little bit of contact, you know, without having to wake up or go to sleep wondering, okay, tomorrow there's got to be a different way to speak without this person getting super crazy. And I'll tell you the answer. There's no way to talk to one of these type of women. It doesn't matter what you say. You're always going to get into a fight. And she's always going to say shit that you can't imagine saying. I'm sick and tired of seeing this chick over here, Mackenzie Shirilla. Like, look at this fucking crap right here, man. It's like every time you see, it's her crying. Well, I don't fucking care if you're crying. What's on, like, thank God this one, Hell on Wheels, right here. Kathy has it, so it's just a normal mug shot. But everything else is like, she's crying, oh my God. But when you're in the Netflix and you see that doc, that's what she looks like on the left. She's looking at the camera like she's the shit. Like, I'm not a murderer. I don't remember a thing. Nothing you can do about it. That's what it is. I'm not that kind of person. She's just looking like no one can figure her out. Anyways, you guys, that's it for this stream. Thanks for making it through, because talking about these topics aren't fun. And I think I like the idea of focusing on individual stories more than the world issues, right? Like, now they're fighting a holy war. Now the Epstein files have been completely forgotten about. Now there's a bunch of actors just making fun of Epstein files and pedos, and like the roast of Kevin Hart, buddy, up on stage. He's like, look at how many pedos are in here. And it's a roast, but a roast is trying to insult. And some insults are based off of what we know. Look at all, how many of you pedos in here at the Kevin Hart fucking roast? Oh my God. Like, how much is going on so that we can try to forget about things, right? There's too much world news to be talking about. And I've got my opinions on world news. Fuck yeah. I got my own opinions, no doubt. I'll speak them when I get to those times. I've already talked about the holy war going on. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Not for another couple months at least. Because it's still going to be going on. Just going to be another war to be fought for, like, political whatever. Vietnam, all that shit. It's all political gain. Money. It's disgusting. So yeah, thanks for making it this far with me, where we just go side roads off the goose trail like crazy. Anyways, hope you guys all have a great day. I might be on later, like I always say. All right. God bless y'all. Peace out.